Once upon a time in Springsville, all was well and peaceful, until an evil witch swoops in and steals the kingdom's riches from all the townsfolk. The king decides, after many knights died, to send his strong, smart son Tobias to retrieve the money. Then a brave shoemaker and his daughter Shailene volunteered along with the help of a fairy to help the prince.
Off into the woods they traveled to get back the kingdom's money. "So where is the witch's cottage?" asked Prince Tobias. The fairy replied, "Just past the woods, over a cliff." The shoemaker trembled, remembering his fear of heights. Suddenly 3 men on horses rode out carrying long, sharp swords from a far distance. "The witch's henchmen! She must have sent them," Shailene exclaimed. Tobias handed Shailene a sword. One of the henchmen drew out his sword and aimed it at the fairy. "We have to save the fairy," the shoemaker yelled, but it was too late. The fairy fell to the ground. The henchman quickly ran off, leaving the poor dead fairy on the ground. "Where do we go now? She was the only one who knew where we were going," Tobias exclaimed. Well, she told us where to go, just past the woods over a cliff," said the shoemaker. "Is that all you care about? This fairy just died." "Are you that shallow?" Shailene screamed. They walked in silence to the end of the woods.
They reached the end of the cliff. "How will we get across?" Tobias asked. "We'll have to jump," the shoemaker replied. "Oh no, I don't jump," Tobias smirked. "We'll have to," the shoemaker yelled. They ran back into the woods and turned to start running towards the cliff. The cliff was the length of a long wall. Shailene successfully made it to the other side with Prince Tobias. She tumbled into a bush, but Prince Tobias was unharmed. The shoemaker gripped onto a rock dangling off the cliff with a broken leg. "Father," Shailene cried. "I think I broke my leg," the shoemaker admitted. "Tobias, help me get him onto the ground." Tobias nodded and walked over to help. They grabbed the shoemaker's hands and pulled with all their might. They each took one arm and guided him to their destination.
Meanwhile, in the witch's cottage, the witch is counting the money she's stolen. When the wizard walks into the room and sees the witch and the piles of money, he says, "Now where did you get all this money?" I got it from," the witch started, but the wizard interrupted, saying, "Don't bother. I know where you got it." He crossed his arms and glared at the witch. "What are you saying?" the witch asked skeptically. "You're thinking of joining them, aren't you?" she gasped. "I didn't say that, but it was too late." The witch got her wand, and before she could do away with the wizard, he ran. "Might as well join them now. Make up for all the trouble," he thought angrily. He found them traveling, helping a shoemaker with a broken leg. "I would like to join you on your quest," he said confidently. Tobias, Shailene, and her father exchanged glances. "He may be able to fix your leg," Tobias said to the shoemaker. They agreed. "But first fix his leg," Shailene demanded. The wizard agreed happily and cast a spell to fix his leg. The shoemaker bounced up and down, and they all started toward the witch's cottage with the wizard leading them.
The 4 heroes peeked through the witch's cottage window to see if the witch was there, but she wasn't. They snuck into her cottage and blew out all her candles and hid in the dark in an attempt to ambush her. They waited silently in the dark, waiting. Finally, the witch came and they tackled her. The witch escaped Shailene's grip and grabbed her wand. She casted spells which the heroes diverted. The wizard tied the witch in a chair when she was tired. They reached the money. The witch had handcuffed her and headed back to the kingdom. Tobias stayed in the witch's cottage and watched over her while the 3 heroes went into the kingdom to take the guards to the cottage to arrest the witch. The guards had finally arrived at the cottage and took the witch away. The king sentenced the witch to life in a dungeon.
The prince and Shailene were shortly engaged afterward with the shoemaker's blessing. The shoemaker was wealthy beyond compare to any other villagers due to prize given by king and happy villagers buying his shoes. The wizard was given a new spellbook and was hired as the royal wizard as an assistant to the king. The fairy was given a proper funeral and her family was given her reward. The kingdom lived in peace with the witch defeated and the money back, and they lived happily ever after. The end.